Y'all already know who it is, man. It's your boy, Underrated Mage. Today I'll be doing a video discussing Fairy Tail 2018 wish list. And this video is exactly how it sounds. As you guys know, the Fairy Tail 2018 anime is going to be coming out. We don't have a date, but all we know is that the author of Fairy Tail, Hiro Mashima, he said on Twitter, yo, stay tuned. There's going to be a big announcement coming soon. And, oh, that was bars. I didn't even try to rhyme that, but that just rhymed perfectly. But we basically know that there's going to be some type of huge Fairy Tail announcement, whether it's a new series, whether it's the anime release date, or whether it's like a video game, or could be a crappy live action movie. You know, we never know what it's going to get, but he did say it's big news, so I'm assuming that it's either a Fairy Tail manga, a new series that he's completely working on, or the Fairy Tail anime, because those are only the three things that are only like big news. So yeah, I decided I wanted to do a video on what I want to see from the Fairy Tail 2018 anime, and this is going to be basing it off of some of the stuff that we got from the previous anime, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to give my thoughts on how I want this anime to be executed. Now, story. Let's talk about the story. Now, the Fairy Tail 2014 anime ended off on the Tartaros arc and the whole time skip thing, you know what I'm saying? It ended off on a moment, and it ended off on a good note, you know what I'm saying? Natsu and Lucy finally reuniting, all that other stuff. So yeah, it ended off with the whole time skip thing, and it was an actual good ending, but there are about two, some people say three, really I say it as like two more arcs. You have the Avatar arc, then you got the War arc, and those are really, and there's like mini arcs here and there, like, you know, gathering Fairy Tail back together, because you guys know that the Fairy Tail Guild disbanded. So yeah, basically that is where I see the story. There's really two/three major big arcs, so I would like to see them animate the whole thing, simply because the Avatar arc isn't that long. The little gathering the Fairy Tail members back arc isn't that long, but the War arc is kind of long. So me personally, I don't see why they would try to split it up and try to like make a whole new season. Like, let's say they have a Fairy Tail 2018 anime and then they'll make a Fairy Tail 2019 anime. No, I don't even think it should be called Fairy Tail 2018. It should be called like Fairy Tail the Final Act or something, just to know that they're going to animate everything, you know what I'm saying? So me personally, I do hope that they do animate everything. I hope they don't try to, you know, drag it out. I hope they don't try to do all this extra stuff. And one thing that I hope that they don't do when it comes to story mode, or I say story mode like it's a video game, to the story, is filler. There is no reason for them to have filler. At Fairy Tail 2014 anime, one of the things that I hated about it was the fillers. Like the whole Celestial Spirit thing, that was garbled, that was trash, you know, and that thing lasted forever. And yeah, basically there should be no reason for filler. If you guys don't know, filler is only in anime so that anime doesn't catch up to manga. That is literally the only reason why filler is in series, you know what I'm saying? So me personally, I don't think that there's really a point for filler, seeing that the manga's ended. They don't gotta try to worry about having to catch up to the manga. So yeah, that's really one thing. I do not want to see filler in the story. And when it comes to story, I also gotta say the pacing. Yes, the pacing. The pacing better be A1, simply because the manga is over. They don't have to worry about catching up to it. And I hope that it's not really too slow paced, because the Fairy Tail 2014 anime, at times the pacing did seem a little bit too slow. And that's really because, like, at the point, I believe the manga and the anime, they're kind of like close to each other, so that's why they had to slow down the pacing. They started adding in-canon filler. So yeah, me personally, I hope that the pacing is actually A1. I hope that's actually pretty good. So yeah, between the story mode, or I keep saying story mode, between the story, I want to see it all done in one go. I want to see no fillers, and I hope that the pacing is good. Now, in terms of animation, this is going to be one of the biggest, this is going to be one of the things that I'm looking for the most, because the first Fairy Tail animation, excellent. I liked it a lot, you know what I'm saying? It felt very good. I liked that one a lot. You know, it looked fluid. The colors, they weren't too vibrant, but they were vibrant enough, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it was a good mix, you know. Overall, I think that the first Fairy Tail anime, the overall execution was done great. Now, the 2014 anime, listen, if you guys are new subscribers, then you guys might not know this, but I was not the biggest fan of the 2014 anime. You know, I felt that the pacing was a little bit, not even the pacing, but the animation just felt a little bit stiff. You know, I didn't really like the art. You know, sometimes I believe that the art, they try to make it like too sharp, like the whole thing with the hair going over characters' eyes, but you can still see like the little eye outline. I was a fan of that, you know, and the animation was just like stiff, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really up to, you know, there wasn't really like any like fluid movement. It's like the other Fairy Tail anime, like the animation was like fluid, you know what I'm saying? They were moving, you know, it just felt really good. But with that one, it just felt like, I don't know, it just gave off a stiff feeling, you know. It didn't really look too good. And not to mention the fact I didn't really like the tone of the Fairy Tail anime 2014. And I know some guys would be thinking, what do you mean by tone? The Fairy Tail 2014 anime, if you look at like the actual like episode, it was like dark, you know what I'm saying? Like it just felt like that all the colors were like darker for some reason. And I get it, they did that because they were in the middle of a war arc, so they tried to make like the colors and stuff match like the tone of the series, because they were going through Tartaros and all that stuff. So I can understand why they're doing that, but I don't like how they executed it. I hope that the next Fairy Tail anime, they go kind of back to the original style, but I do think it would be dope if they do add a darker tone to it, like how they did with the 2014 anime, you know, how they make it a little bit darker, but and only for certain parts, only for like maybe the war arc here and there. I would like if they did make the tone a little bit darker, kind of like how they did with the whole Tartaros arc. But if they kept the fluid animation of the first series and kept all the other stuff, then I think that if you take the tone from 2014 and if you put the animation, you know, the art and stuff from the old Fairy Tail anime, mush them together, then it's going to be a banger, you know what I'm saying? I think that that'll be dope if they do add it like that. And the next thing that I want to discuss is in-canon filler. Now, we seen the 2014 anime, they had in-canon filler. For the most part, it was dope, you know what I'm saying? It was dope because even though some people, they say, oh, it was filler, the fact that I call it in-canon filler is because it wasn't in the manga. However, the author of Fairy Tail, Hiro Mashima, he admitted, yo, there was some stuff that I couldn't put in the manga, whether it's due to pacing or whether it was due to time, whether it was due to the editor saying no. So what he did, he went to the anime studios like, yo, add this stuff in the anime. This was some of my original thoughts. Like we see the Naoto versus Jackal fight, that had some in-canon filler. We see the Tempesta fight, that had, or Tempesta versus Laxus round 2, that was in-canon filler. And I like that concept because it makes us feel a little bit closer to the author. We're like, okay, this is what he wanted to do originally. So I hope that they do add that in there, and trust me, they're going to need it. Like, they are going to need it for some of the stuff that happens in the Fairy Tail manga. I think they're going to need a whole bunch of in-canon filler to like justify some of the stuff that went down, because I'm not going to flex, there was some stuff that I was like, I was just like, what is going on? Like the Fairy Tail manga, the ending, it felt rushed. So I hope to compensate for that for all the manga readers that had to sit through that torture. I don't know, listen, I ain't gonna spoil no anime onlys, but the last arc, it kind of put me, it felt like they were waterboarding me. I was like, what's going on? Like, I was like, what is this? So hopefully there's some type of in-canon filler to make up for some of the stuff that went down, because yeah, that some of the stuff that went down, it does need to be justified, or it does need to be stretched out a little bit longer. You know, there's a little bit too quick of fights happening in the final arc. So yeah, that's my whole thing. I hope they do actually add in-canon filler. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is the voice acting. Now, the reason I said the voice acting, I'm not going to say that the voice acting is like bad for any of the old characters, but there's a whole bunch of new characters that get introduced, and I hope that they're able to pull this off right, because out of some of the new characters that was introduced, they're dope, you know what I'm saying? They're dope. They got cool designs, everything. They're some of my favorite Fairy Tail characters. God Sarita, that's all I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I hope that they do the voice acting good. The 2014 anime, when they introduced the Tartaros members, they did great on that, you know what I'm saying? I like the voice acting for those guys. So, hopefully the voice acting for the, y'all know what I'm talking about, the Spirit God 12, hopefully they make that good. And I hope that they just actually, I hope it's not some BS, you know what I'm saying, some half-ass job on the voice acting. So that's really that when it comes to the voice acting. The last thing I want to discuss is the ending. How are they going to pull off the Fairy Tail ending? Because basically, the Fairy Tail, the last movie, was kind of tied in to the Fairy Tail story, because at the end of Fairy Tail the last, or I want to say Fairy Tail the last movie, Fairy Tail Dragon Cry, I'm thinking of Naruto, but basically Fairy Tail Dragon Cry, we see it at the end. They kind of like segue into the final war arc, so I don't know how they're going to really place that into the story. You know, maybe it's going to be a part of the story, maybe that was just fan service for us Fairy Tail fans, I don't know. But yeah, we basically see a lot of stuff from Fairy Tail Dragon Cry that we didn't see in the Fairy Tail manga. Like, we saw Acnologia's past, we saw Zeref actually like preparing with the other Spirit God 12 members saying, yo, it's go time. So me personally, I hope that the ending for the anime series is done in a great way, because in the manga, the Fairy Tail anime, or what? That made no sense. In the manga, the Fairy Tail series ended off on a, I don't want to say a cliffhanger, but it ended off on an open note. You know, it had an open ending, whereas you're like, okay, they ended off doing something. It didn't really feel like an ending. So I hope that the Fairy Tail anime does make the ending of the series feel like an actual ending, because this, and I'm not saying that the Fairy Tail ending was bad, but I'm just saying that it didn't feel like an ending. It's the same thing that happened with Naruto. I don't know if you guys read Naruto, but when Naruto ended, I was saying for the longest time, yo, this doesn't feel like an ending. And then later on they came out with Boruto, and that's how I feel about Fairy Tail. Like, the Fairy Tail series ended, but it doesn't feel like an ending. So then hopefully they'll end up coming out with a new series, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully. But yeah, really, that's basically it for this little video. These are my wishes on what I want to see from the Fairy Tail 2018 anime. I just want to get an announcement date, bro, so we can start counting down to the series, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it'll come out in March. But yeah, overall, that's basically it for this little video. Comment what you guys think down below, subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.